All right, so here we have a set of the incandescent 2020 and up Super Duty taillights. They're pretty easy to spot because you can tell, you see the brake light bulb right there? That's how you know you have the incandescence. Right here, you can see the bulb right in it, even before you take it off the truck. So fairly easy to tell. Now, this is what they're gonna look like factory. I left the bulbs in this one for you so you can kind of see the orientation of how the bulbs are from the factory. So this is what we're working with right out the factory. Is that 7443 or 7? I think that's the bulb number. Amber in the amber. That's a nice snug fit. So regarding hideaways on these, the first thing I'm looking at, thinking going in from the side here, but I'm checking clearance on the truck, and this gap right here, this little sliver of room that they gave you, even if you took a popular hideaway, something similar to our low dome Haw Duo here, and if you manipulated the wire, heat it up and kind of smush it and try to make it as flat as very possible, I honestly don't know if there's going to be enough room here once the taillight goes back on the truck. It's a very tight fit here. Now, the way that the lens arcs inside of here, all of this area, this is all kind of useless. It doesn't really help you in any way. So they kind of only got to go in this way, and I don't know, I haven't done one yet. I'm not going to do this set right now because I don't want to risk it here today, but this is what we're working with on the incandescent 2020 Super Duty tails. I was hoping that Ford would have made this pair of lenses similar to this one, where we could have mounted a light here and here, but for whatever reason they've got this nice blocked off square design that really kind of makes it hard to mount anything anywhere. So disappointing news on that set of lenses. Anyways, stay tuned. If I drill a hole in them, I'll add to this video, but for now that's what you're working with, and I don't have a way to put a strobe light in them at the moment, but we're working on it. So how you guys doing? And thanks for watching. This is George at Wicked Warnings, here with a little tech tip, inside view of these new 2020 taillights on the Super Duty. This is the incandescent blind spot taillight. What I mean by that is it has bulbs inside of it. You can tell by looking right in the brake portion, there's light bulbs. So it also has a light bulb in here for the factory turn signal and the factory reverse, but it has the blind spot radar. As you can see right there, it's clearly marked blind spot radar. So this is a more elaborate tail light, a little bit more difficult to get inside, but let's take a look. Okay, so we've got tail light right over here on the bench. We're gonna flip it over. We're gonna take a look inside of it. I'm gonna show you kind of what my thoughts are. First thing we're gonna do is we remove the blind spot system. This is 7mm Torx, and this is gonna come out. This is how you actually access to change the turn signal bulb. So FYI, if your turn signal bulb goes out, it's buried back in here. So when you take that out, you're going to see inside the lens, and this is where all the magic's going to happen. So the turn signal bulb is going to go in there, and you can see how the reverse lens is formed here. First thing I thought was poke a hideaway right here. However, the clearance is real limited here, real limited. I think it'll pull off. I think we can do a hideaway, a high dome right here, and not interfere with the bulb, and fold the wire nice and tight and be careful, and I think it'll be okay. But the better location is to go right into here. I'd go on the bottom here, on the lower part of the taillight, because it's going to angle the bulb up, and it's actually going to be coming up at the viewer from this side. However, if you wanted a two-color system, there's enough room here to go up and down. Going to be a little tricky to get the hole saw in there, but you go right up against here, and you can see it does just kind of barely make it. Now, what I also will use a lot is a 1-inch step bit. So I've made up some tools. This is just a Harbor Freight bit on an extension. That's your step bit. You can start off, and by having an extension on it, you can get it closer and you can get a better angle at when you're drilling, and then you can even have the larger one here. This is a 1-inch diameter, found it on eBay by Drill Hog. We're going to add them to our site soon, but otherwise it's on eBay. It's by Drill Hog, and it's a 1-inch diameter. I start with a small one, and then we can run this one in there. Of course, obviously a shop vac is going to be a best friend. You're going to want to turn this upside down when you're drilling so everything comes down, and make sure you don't get no shavings in here, but it's pretty wide open. So with the air compressor and a vacuum, I think you'll be able to easily get it out. The other method I thought was that perhaps maybe we could take something like this Hideaway and we could epoxy it down onto the reverse like that, but seems like it's a real tight fit to get into there, but that's how we might be able to get it colored down into the reverse portion. Is I'm thinking come in from the top like that, and you might have to epoxy a little bit in there. So this here will go back in. If you put it in the right way like that, as you can see, the plastic faces primarily all right against in here. So this area here is behind the sensor, shouldn't have any effect. Now, as far as bringing the wires out, okay, here's what I would do. I would go right down here on the bottom, and I would cut a small U, a very small U that you can slide the wire into. And then I would caulk that up with a little RTV, and then you put your factory plug back in. Okay, but you can see that the gasket here, kind of, you got to make sure to leave room for that gasket. So your wire U is going to come down a little ways, and you're going to have to caulk that all in after. Keep it on the bottom, so as the water comes down, hopefully it drips off of it instead of dripping into it. Don't do it up here, do it down here. So I have yet to do a set. I will post an edit to this video as soon as I do. This is just a sneak peek at the inside of these lights right here. So if you got some lights like this, hopefully this video was informative and helpful. And like I said, stay tuned. And as soon as I cut a set in and get one done, this particular truck, we weren't doing hideaways, but I wanted to show you all this anyways. So that's the inside of these type of Super Duty taillights. Thanks again for watching Wicked Warnings. We'll see you on the next video.